Welcome back to the M&K Productions podcast. It's Kristin, aka Miss Filmingo, and today we are not joined by Mac. I'm kind of bummed he was not able to join this episode, but that's not stopping us today. We're going to have a really great time today. Today we are talking to the stars of the latest independent comedy, Hollywood.con. It's directed by the outstanding Mika Boorem. The film follows an actor who steals the identity of a producer and is hurled into Hollywood's next Mayan film. In the jungle of Mexico, she is mistaken as a member of a cartel. And like I said, I had the chance to speak with Mika, who's not only the director, but is also one of the stars and is also one of the writers. I also had the chance to speak with her father, Benjamin Boorem. He stars in the film as well, along with Herbert Russell and Paige Howard. This was a huge interview for us, and I want to take the time to say thank you again to the entire cast who are coming on to speak with me virtually and taking the time out of their busy schedules to talk to us and talk to us about their special project. So if you really want to listen to today's episode, I suggest you go and support the film. It's Hollywood.con. It's available now on Amazon to rent and purchase. We're going to be talking some minor spoilers, so go watch the film and come back. So for now, let's get into the interview. So congratulations to everyone involved. How does it feel to have this film out into the world? I always like to tell directors, actors, what's it like having that baby out in the world now? What's it like? What's it like having that film breathe some fresh air? Are you happy now that it's out in the world for audiences to see?
Yes, absolutely. Thrilled.
Oh, yes, same here.
I thought we were all going to.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
No, I'm just waiting for everybody to get their thrilled in. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
It's one of those things you work. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead, because you got it. You tell us.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's one of those things you work on for a while, and you have so many different people collaborating on it. You've got these great performances from the actors, and other people as well too. So when you finally get it in front of audiences and people start having these experiences with it, and then you get to start hearing what the experiences are that they had with it, or where they connected with things or connected with actors, storylines, what they related to. That's the coolest.
Yeah, it's always so much fun when you collaborate on something and you're part of a project, and then there's just a lot of excitement around sort of seeing it, like you said, out in the world. And I think in particular, Mika and I have been friends for a while now, and when she was starting to cook up this idea, it was just so exciting. And then to sort of be on this journey, and then to be able to be a part of it, and then to now see it out. It's such a awesome feeling. It never gets old, that one.
And it's such a dynamic and incredible ensemble, and there's so many different moving pieces to this comedy, and to see it all come together and work is just tremendous. So it really is a testament to their hard work. Mika and Ben, you guys were so creative at coming up with ways of capturing your shots and your locations and the animals and all of it, and it's wonderful to see the whole thing come together. It's just great.
Thank you.
I'm a fan.
I must say, it's one of the most creative films I've seen so far this year. It's very zany in the best way possible, because it is okay, you don't expect this event to happen, but it's so funny. I enjoyed myself laughing at the times, especially the camel scene that happens in the middle of the film when you're running away from your wedding that you're supposed to marry to that child or teenager. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. So one of the questions I have is, how did this idea come about? Why focus on, this Hollywood setting and the industry? Why focus on that?
So when we wanted to write about something it was Mika's life in the Hollywood scene and my life, because I'm a gemologist and a bush pilot. So we were combining our worlds. So we were writing about stuff that we both had, that we had experienced. And so on the part with the enchanted jade, Mika was actually with me on a jade buying trip whenever they tried to sell me jade from a tomb. And we got into this whole thing about cursed jade and all that. But I didn't buy it, of course. And So that kind of helped with our story. That's where we came up with. We wanted to write about some. It's kind of like a documentary on our life, but no, not really. It's just kind of our stories in a comedic fashion.
You could say it's almost like an over-the-top satire in a way, combining all your stories together to create something that's even crazier.
Absolutely. I think, they always say, too, to write what you know. And so even though the movie is like this adventure comedic piece, I think that because, I have heard some of these like funny things like, on Hollywood sets and stuff and like different things with, quirky characters, where I was able to add a little bit of realism even to the comedic dialogue stuff. And then he's able to ground some of the gemology, Latin American stuff and some, realism and some authenticity too, which is sort of, I think when you add those flavors in, then even though it's comedy, it's like a little bit more grounded or relatable, hopefully.
Yeah, there was a lot of relatable scenes that I found. I'm not, an actor or any per se like that in the industry, but you do get this sense of like friendships backstabbing the minute we watch the movie. As soon as, we have that Queen zombie audition. And, I was wondering, have you ever encountered another like friend who's an actor? You bump into the same scene, you build that confidence, or he or she helped you build that confidence for the role. And then you're like, what are they doing here? Why are they trying to steal my thunder? Have you guys ever had that similar experience before?
Not per se for me, but I do think that like it's not like that like overly far off. I think that you could have some of that, I think that you could have some quirky stuff because like you do end up with some characters that, are they're trying to make it in Hollywood and they've got like 2 weeks to make it. So they'll do whatever.
True.
I don't know. What about you guys? I feel like
well, I've been trying to be an actor for 30 years. I think pretty soon it's going to stick. There are a lot of aggressive talent out here, but by and large, all of my working experiences have been collaborative, wonderful, and certainly everyone in this film was very fun and easy to work with. It was a riot. I mean, an absolute riot to work on this. I don't want to give any spoilers, however, but let's just say that Ben had gotten me acquainted with some vegetables through the course of this project that weren't entirely ripe.
Oh, no.
So,
No, but we still have those vegetables, by the way. They're preserved.
What kind of vegetables are they? Can I ask?
Those are going to be museum pieces someday.
Okay.
That's it. They're going to be immortal, like that jade.
Absolutely.
I will say, what's really funny though is they do have a lot of times where for auditions for stuff they'll tell you to dress the part, and so that was like I had to add that in there. Have you guys ever, Paige? Have you ever had that where it's like extreme? Have you dressed the part, or what have you done?
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah, and it's really really funny. I've had a couple incidents like that, and it really is. It's hysterical. Like what like, I don't know, some of the things when I actually think about it are, I can't believe the way I walked out of the house. But yeah. And then you go in and there'd be a room full of people all dressed, like whatever it is. Yeah. But also I agree. Like I luckily have never encountered, any sort of, like any sort of that backstabbing, energy at all. For the most part, everyone I've worked with has been like really, really amazing and awesome. But I do love so much that you put that in the film, because I agree with you. I don't think it's that much of a stretch. I definitely have had a couple friends that, would sort of, I've heard like whisperings of not wanting to let one person know that they were auditioning for this because they didn't want them to catch wind of the fact that a part that could be very good for them was like out in the world floating around. And I remember just being like, whoa, that's so much. So bizarre. But so it's out there, and I think that even if it's few and far between, it's funny that you included that. I think it's good.
Yeah,
well, Devin Rattray, who's also in this film, is an old friend of mine. We go back, I think, 25 years or something like that. And he always busts me because years ago I had done a film called House Arrest. And he was always saying, I was supposed to have house arrest. And I tell him, look, I will trade you one house arrest for 2 Home Alones. Anytime, buddy, anytime.
Because I was just going to ask you what was just, discussed. Have you guys ever really went out for an audition where you really did dress the part and then you're like, I'm going to get this. And then you're like waiting for that casting call to come back and then you're like, nope, all right. I went all out for nothing. Did you all have a similar experience like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
99%. And mind you, the costume is just a T-shirt,
It's just a T-shirt.
I really was rocking that shirt that day. I don't know what it was. Must be my fabric softener. Maybe if I switch that up, I'll get the role. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's something. I can't think of what though, but I'm pretty sure. I do know. I do remember though, which is kind of funny and random because so long ago, I was so young when I did it. But like when I did the Patriot audition, I remember I was like, I need to wear a big dress. I wore this like huge dress in there, and I remember everyone else was dressed. And like I said, I was so young, but I remember everyone else was dressed normal, and I was like crickets. I was like, that's cool. I'm from a long time ago. I'm from 1776.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's bring on Dad for a second. What was it like collaborating with your daughter in all of this? Did you guys often clash about what scenes you wanted to have in the film and what you guys fought together to have? Maybe you envisioned something and then Mika, you didn't. So go about what was it like going back and forth and working together?
No, everything flowed pretty smoothly. Pretty much all the scenes were we were happy with all the scenes together. There was one scene that I wasn't. You okay, Paige? There was one scene that we were kind of I didn't really like, but Mika really liked, and we needed it. And so I was always trying to find some way to get out of that one because it had me doing some pretty wild stuff. But in the end, we found something that worked. But no, it worked out good. We were pretty much on track with what we were wanting to do with it. So, and we enjoyed, and every idea she came up with, I really liked, and my ideas she liked. So it's just a matter of being able to make it work and bring everything together.
Yeah, I'll say too, one of the things with the movie being an independent film versus like a studio film is it lends to like if there's something that would be quirky and fun that's available to put into the film, like the camel that you mentioned. We have different homages in there. There's like an homage to the William Shatner Twilight Zone scene with the man on the there's a Pretty Woman one, like just all of these different things because it's independent and like the spirit of independent is that I think that sometimes you're not, the weirder the better. Like I think sometimes when you
absolutely
colorful, zany flavors, you're really going for what makes an independent film independent where you push the envelope. And so we had a lot of those discussions, my dad and I, like going back and forth where we're like, well, the camel's available. Should we get the camel in? And we're like looking at each other, we're like, yeah, let's get the camel in. Okay. Like, different stuff like that.
I thought it was so wonderful that you embraced the cartoonish elements as well. Like when Ben was exercising and those colorful streamlines are coming off of him while he's throwing punches. It was hilarious. I was cracking up. I almost fell off my couch when I saw that. I wasn't expecting it. It was so funny.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. When we were filming that, after we finished, I still had everything on. We were in a restaurant and my stuff was kind of starting to come off, the prosthetics. And everyone was really giving me some bizarre looks. They were trying to figure out what is with this guy. This guy is pretty out there.
Well, to add on to that story, though, he was trying to talk to people. He was like, "Hey, how are you?" And like prosthetic feeling off like leprosy.
Oh no!
No, I intentionally was having fun.
We were like,
so we were going up. Where we filmed that, we're going up to there's these girls running, and I'm like, "Hey." and they turn around and have this big smile till they take a good look at me. Then they're like, ah. Yeah, we were having fun.
There was a lot of fun to be had with this film, and to speak of which, you mentioned your homages. One of the things I was gonna ask was that, what was it like incorporating some of your favorite films? Because one of the films, like, I noticed that you pay homage to is like the embargo poster, and I immediately thought of Fargo, and the little Rocky Balboa scene you guys have, and then the Pretty Woman like montage that happens towards the end of the film. What was it like bringing almost all your favorite films together in one film? How did that go about?
I'm so happy that you caught all those. I love it. I mean, we wanted to make little Easter eggs, so you watch it once and you're like, whoa, that was weird. I loved it. And then you're like, wait, what was that? What was that in the background? Was that embargo for Fargo?
Yeah.
Where people catch things and watch it. And so, it's just like another layer of oddities that we were hoping that would connect people to it. Because, people have their own experiences with those films.
Mm-hmm.
And those are popular films that so many people love. And so it just seemed like a fun opportunity to kind of, do these little like winks and nods to the audience and maybe find another layer of something that they connect to.
100%.
You guys did that so artfully. It was so much fun, and it was just so intelligent. Yeah, and I'm so happy you caught all of that, because it really is you guys just did such a good job with that.
Was there one film that you wanted to include, but then you couldn't and just decided it didn't work?
Dad?
Yeah, we pretty much, because we had no limits, so we pretty much did everything we wanted to do. And we made everything work. We just did what we wanted to do. And there's some stuff people go, you can't do that. And we go, of course we can do that. It's our film. We'll do what we want to do. So that's good. Yeah.
It's one of those things too. There's
that I like it. I don't know. Go ahead, Mika. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dad.
Oh, no. Yeah, so we pretty much got everything in there. Like the Twilight Zone one in the airplane. Because I'm like, that airplane was super special to me because I've been flying since I was very young. So it's really important to get that airplane scene in there. And I always loved that Twilight Zone scene. Mm-hmm. So since we had the curtain, I wanted to make sure I got that wildebeest looking in the window at me. So that whenever I had my attack, that it would, that it would explain what was going on. I reverted back to my original problems of my nervous breakdown.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing I was going to bring up. Your character basically faces fear after, the accident that he has and discusses in the film. What are your biggest fears that each of you might have, and then basically overcome it? Because, your character overcomes it with the help, of Mika.
Biggest fears. I think the biggest fear with something would be if you hit a wall and you don't go around it. And that was one of the things with this movie being like an independent film, is we hit a lot of walls at different points, but everybody was collaborative and like awesome and on board and like available to like, make things work and really push through, that it made it happen. And we went around a bunch of hurdles, and I think that that's what happens with independent film, because not only do we have all these locations, but all the actors are working actors. Like Paige works all the time, Herbert works all the time, so scheduling with them too, and it's complicated. It's a more complicated beast when you're doing it independent. So I think that would be a fear, is if you get stuck at a wall and you don't push through. But
right.
If you buckle down and you like think, okay, step by step, like what do we do, and you have good people around you, I think that you can make it happen.
Of course. How do you guys feel?
Well, my biggest fear is that the more the deeper in love I get with stretch pants, it's going to encourage me to get fatter and fatter.
The pandemic, oh no. I feel you, Herbert. I feel you.
It's actually a pants-demic. It's a pants-demic.
It's a pants-demic. I love that.
Pandemic.
That's what it should have been called, I think, for a majority of us. Because, like, we've all, went through that together.
100%.
I have to say that Mika and Ben, you guys were fearless. Showing up every day was very creative. There was a lot of improvisation, and I don't mean in terms of the performance. I mean in actually making the gags work and having that rhythm and shooting in locations that were they weren't always the friendliest environment where every gag, they were working on such a tight budget. You don't have these tremendous rigs that you can work with. Everything had to sort of be improvised. You guys were so fearless. You just embraced that. There was one scene in particular. I remember I was laying on a hammock, and the entire time we were working, the back of the hammock was actually splitting open. And so I developed this marvelous physical action technique where I would squeeze and clench my butt cheeks, literally holding the hammock together. And I had to stop myself from vibrating while we were rolling because I thought we could maybe only get a take or two before the thing finally gave out and we would lose the opportunity to capture that moment on film. It was harrowing and incredible and visceral, and I was never more alive. Thank you.
Your service on that, Herbert. We needed that for the scene. Had that hammock blown out, we would have had to have moved on to we would have had to reshoot so much. So I thank you for your service on that.
My pleasure. I'm a bit of a power bottom. I know I just spoke about my belly up front, but I'm party in the back. You know what I'm saying? Party in the back. I actually do a butt double for
a butt double
for Chris Pratt.
Oh my gosh! I haven't heard anybody mention about a butt double since that Friends episode.
Oh yes.
That's all anybody mentions a butt double.
The butt double Friends episode. I love Friends.
Me too.
Give me an homage.
So
yes.
I say, just to jump in, I think my biggest fear, because I love that question, I think it's so good. I think my biggest fear is having regrets for not doing something that I want to do. That's what I think my biggest fear is. Although I have many, but that would be the biggest one. No, I'm good.
I think that's the most relatable, honestly, because then you think twice about, some things and you're like, oh man.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
And that's also with this film, what's so awesome, and I love just the way it was constructed in general, is you guys were like, let's do it. This is what we want to do. We're going to do this. We're doing this together, and you guys just, like you said, Ben, you're like, we did whatever the hell we wanted, We're like, wanted to do it. We did it. And I think it was just it's just so inspiring and admirable, and the way to live.
I love Paige's a Veronica Lay character because I feel like that through line of you need to buckle down, you can do it, strong woman. I feel like there's a piece of that that's so innately beautifully in Paige's personality. So it was fun when I was putting that role together. I was like, yes,
yeah. I'm just sitting here and talking to you now, Paige. I can totally feel that, because the one question I actually had for you is that we get that really inspiring wisdom from her early on in the film. She's like, she says that mantra. I wrote it down in my notes, so hold on 1 second. It was she follows that Darwinism quote, basically. Yeah. Do you tend to follow that mantra too? That,
I don't remember the exact mantra. Mika, do you guys remember what the exact mantra was?
Oh, it was only the strong survive. I think that's what it was. I just found it. Yeah. I just realized it.
You would be prey or predator.
That's right.
Prey or predator. That's the other thing.
Prey or predator. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, you know what? I think that to a degree, I do. I think that you have to go. You have to shoot your shot. You have to go after it. And if not, I think you can really get swallowed up by, other people's visions for you or people pleasing. And I think that is a more, that's sort of how I prey or predator. I think if you're not living your life for yourself, that doesn't mean you're selfish. That doesn't mean that you don't take care of your community. That doesn't mean that you don't show up for the people that you love, and that you do things honorably. But I think that if you are not captain of your ship, then yeah, you are living everyone else's journey and not your own. And I think you do get, eaten up. So I absolutely agree with that.
I really love that
live my life.
answer. I really do love that answer. So location is one of the biggest aspects in this film. You guys do a lot of traveling here, from what I can see.
Yes, we did a lot of traveling.
I want to hear what Dad's biggest fear is. Dad, did you answer that question?
I don't think he did.
Okay. No, I was just trying to think. It's like, God, no, I try not to have fear, so I don't know. That's what I was trying to think. It's the biggest fear.
He's brave. You're brave.
Maybe that, I don't know. The biggest fear was this. We kept going and going because we would finish and we'd go, well, let's add some more to this. And then let's add some more to it. And so it's just like we kept going. We could actually still be filming this right now. I think when we were finally finished, we had so I think we started with like a 4-hour movie, and then we had to trim it down, and we kept taking it down because we did a lot of filming.
Oh man, I want to see the Snyder cut of this one.
Yeah, let's vote on the Snyder cut for this. Let's go for the 4-hour version of Hollywood.com.
So on locations, something that's got, first I had like a lot of location, lots of animals. And it was California, Arizona, Texas, and then a bunch of different spots in Mexico and a shot in Guatemala. So we had different things. But when we did the Mayan priest scene and we had the issues with his paperwork, we actually went to the real locations of where all of that takes place. Those were the real spots.
Oh,
and that you seen rolling up, he was the real deal. And we'd set some sensors off, and he came rolling up like, hey, guys, what's happening here? But it was cool. It was all good. Right, Mika? Mika handled it.
I was going to say, I think your biggest fear, Dad, is when someone tells you to relax. To slow down. He hates not moving and doing stuff.
That's the same thing like my dad. Dads always have to keep moving, I feel like. They never stop.
He's like, is that the R word? No.
The thing that word I hate more than anything is the R word. When someone goes, relax. Can't stand that word.
I agree. So, there's no time to relax in life. You just want to keep going.
Well, Ben, you not only made sure that everything worked and that we were able to continue moving forward, but you always gave me and everybody that I saw working those days a real great feeling that they were welcome, and you were like a gracious host in addition to being a complete maniac. And I really appreciated that about you. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So sweet.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the other things I noticed is that this film had a couple of dogs in it. Quite a few dogs in it. And currently I was watching your promotional tour video, and I saw Angel riding around the back in the bike someone was driving, her. Thought it was so cute. What was it like bringing all the dogs in together and wanting to bring, we have that, scruffy looking dog, that, little black dog that's in the film that's, you feel bad for it. It's so cute. So are you guys dog people? Because that's the one thing I was, picking up on.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. So many dogs, animal lovers to the full maximum. So that dog in the film, which the movie's dedicated to at the end, that was my little dog, Penny, who was the bionic puppy. She lived till she was 18. She went blind. she got she had a new eye put in, with a little cataract, so then she could see again. Her little legs went out, so she had her own little walker. And so that was the dog that we put in the movie as my dad's dog was actually my dog that I had forever. So it was so fun having her in the film. Such another little special element. And then we have Frida, which is the hairless Mexican dog in the film, the Cholo Cinquintle, which they're really an interesting breed. When they're all black, they're meant to be like liaisons who escort when someone passes away. They in the Mayan culture, then they take them over the Rainbow Bridge into the afterlife, and then once they've done that, then they get white spots on them. So we have one of those dogs in the film, which is very cool. They're very rare. They're completely hairless. They're like the in the movie Coco, there was the dog Dante. Yeah, so it's the same one as that. And then, Dad, what other dogs do we have in the movie? I know we've got a few others. There's
There was the Australian Shepherd dog that was when you were escaping from the wedding. There was that one.
Yeah.
And then there was Moose he was with the at the border with the guys that were chasing us. And then we had, Mimi and Junior were in it. And I think that's it. There's like 7 dogs in it.
Yeah, there was like I was counting. I was gonna do like a drinking game. How many dogs do we have in the film?
That was an homage to 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, we literally, like, anywhere that we could fit more animals in, we were all about it. Like, did you see there was the little Shetland pony who's like
I did. I was like, is that a miniature pony? And I kind of like rewound the clip as, you know, the car was, you're going into the distance. I'm like, that's a mini pony. I love that.
Yeah, and then we got the snakes in there, and we just tried to fit anything, you know, that was.
The potbelly pig, Princess, was in there.
Yes.
I don't appreciate you referring to my performance that way, Ben.
No.
I think
I didn't mean to interrupt there. Stealing focus for a second there, you know. Oh, have you guys seen my butt?
That was fun. Yeah, it's fun having all the animals in there, and we tried to make it as unique as possible and not get caught up in having to just follow a certain, the same path everybody takes, and we wanted to give it our own taste of stuff. And also we were looking to find something that was uplifting and we were trying to keep anything that was negative out of it. We didn't want any negativity. So that was
so all that stuff about Hollywood backstabbers, that's okay. But let's get the Shetland pony in there and balance it out, you know?
That's right, they'll distract. No, we'll distract with Buddy.
Yes.
I will say though, I think that like all of our even like our villainous characters in it, which, you know, Herbert gets to play one of our fun, fantastic, probably biggest villainous character in this. I think that you love them. I think that there's something lovable about them. There's still heart there because the things that he wants and how he goes about getting them and stuff, they're not done in from like a really dark place. They're done, if anything, more from like a maybe like an immature place, or like just not quite knowing how to go about it, but really wanting to do it, but not I think like really in a dark place, you know. I think and then they all have redemption at the end. They have these redemptive scenes because they really do have strong hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't checked the diagnostic and statistical manual, but if there is a diagnosis for a failed sociopath, I think that would describe Josh in the film. He has all the ambition, but none of the fortitude.
You got to have 2 parts, and the other one was this lovable kind of goofy guy that was just wanting to make it, man, and he was and that was a very lovable character. So that was the balance there. We got to balance things out there with your other guy there.
I feel like Josh is still lovable though, because at the end, he's trying to keep himself at the Mayan temple, and
yes,
and people they still love him enough over at the studio office that they never fire him.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't fire him. Like, you guys were like, okay, we'll keep this guy. He seems reasonable still.
Well, they need someone to get the coffee.
Here's groups. There's 2 theater groups. They each have 3,000 theaters. One's been open, but without, it's only light capacity. The other one just opened up yesterday. And so we're talking to them again about possibly doing, putting it in the theaters here, which would be fantastic because it has a lot of Latin flavor to the movie. And also there's a lot of double meaning words that people here will understand, but unless slang, you're not going to grab it because it's some real funny stuff, but slang, double meaning stuff.
Right.
Mika?
No, I think that would be really cool to have it like, you know, in theaters like that. That would be, did you guys want it in theaters, Micah,
Yeah.
in the United States here? Or no, you just wanted it straight to streaming or?
So the original plan was we were going to release it in Mexico first with the streaming, or sorry. The original plan was we were going to release it in Mexico with the theaters. And we had done a promotional tour through Mexico, actually for like 6 months. We were traveling around doing radio, TV, all of that. And then the pandemic happened. And so we were like, well, what do we do? Because we were going to release it in Mexico first and then bring it to the United States, which generally for theater distribution, it would be the opposite. You would do it domestically first in theaters, and then you would do it in theaters in other places. And so we thought it would be a fun way to do that differently because we were doing everything differently.
Yeah.
This and doing our own program. So, but, you know, with the pandemic, it became an interesting thing because we were like, well, when will theaters open? At what capacity? And then beyond that, I have some friends that work at different studios, and they were like, we're holding on to are $50 million, $100 million movies until theaters fully open. So for an independent film, you're going to be competing majorly with these huge budget films. And I just don't know. I mean, there'd still be art house cinemas, but if they've made it through the pandemic. So anyway, it just became like an odd space. And then the discussion came up too about these streaming platforms. People have gone through so much content within the pandemic because, people have just been at home more. And so people are starting to revisit these older TV shows like Breaking Bad or whatever. And so there's a real want for new content. So it just became like a really good marriage to put the movie with Amazon and have it streaming now. People are at home. Also, the timing too for the film, because it's so lighthearted and like quirky, and like we've got such a great ensemble cast, and like you don't have to think too heavily about the film. It's fun. You just watch it. There's no politics, religious, no guns, no sex, no violence in it.
Yeah.
Really. It's easy watching, and so I think that it's a good time for that too, because I think people want escapism in film. They want to, watch something and relax.
Okay, I know we're about to go a little bit over time, but I have two last questions for you all. Well, first of all, I wanted to mention really quick, what was it like, you got Tom Arnold in the film. What was it like bringing him on set, and how did you get him to come on board for this project?
Tom's awesome. Tom's so cool. Tom played my dad on a TV show for 2 years when I was 10, and I was like, hey, Tom, like, you want to be El Jade, the drug cartel lord in Mexico? And he was like, yeah. He's great. I think that's one of the things about this film that I'm so proud of and was so important to me as a director, is that we got this, like, awesome cast. Like, the actors in this are so good. Herbert does such an awesome job in this. Paige does such an awesome job in this. Their characters are really, like, I feel like they have character arcs within the story. I feel like there's a lot of like texture to them, and they're like very well developed, odd characters that I think people will remember them playing, because they're so just fun and kind of far out. And I think that's like one of my favorite things about the film, is that there are so many of these like interesting artists who came on board. And I was fortunate enough that like people believed in me enough to sign on to do it, but yeah, Herbert does an awesome performance in it. Paige does too. Like, Tom's does it. Who else? Brian Krause does a cameo in it, which he's been in a ton of stuff. He was on Charmed for years. Billy Bob Thornton with the Boxmasters gave us a couple songs. They have a little cameo in it. Like,
yeah, I noticed that.
There's just, a lot of fun, interesting artists that threw a little bit of spark.
Devin Trey. Wildman Trey.
Devin Trey, who's so funny.
I got introduced to Mika through Devin, and so it was a real fortuitous moment there. I'm so grateful that you brought me aboard. Thank you.
Aww.
Yeah, so the actors, like I had worked, so Herbert was one of the only people I hadn't worked with before, but like Paige and I did a movie 10 years ago, and then we've been like buds ever since. So that was like that connection on that. Herbert, I did a movie with his bud, Devin Rattray, who he just mentioned, about 10 years ago as well. And then Devin and I were buds. Devin plays Andy Slimek in it, which Devin's so funny. He has done so much, but I always love, which Herbert mentioned earlier, he was Buzz in Home Alone with the little tarantula. And like he's done so much since then though. But yeah, so I was like trying to find this like great villainous character, and he's like, Herbert. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd heard of Herbert before. Herbert's been acting forever and so much interesting stuff. But yeah, he hooked the two of us up and put us in the room, and it's just cool. It's exciting that there's a good cast on it. With my background as an actor, that was like probably one of the most important, is like to have the experience of working with good actors.
100%. The last question I just have for all of you guys is that, what do you want audiences to take away after watching Hollywood.con, I should say? What do you want them to like say when, as soon as the movie ends, they want it to be like, as memorable as possible? Do they want it, you want them to take away with the message that it has in the film, or just, it was just a fun movie?
I wanted to say I want to watch it again. That was like, what happened? That was fun. That was weird. What happened? I want to watch it again.
Sequel.
Would you guys be down for a sequel?
The thing is, there's so many comedies these days that are so cynical. And earlier you were talking about the homages. There's so many comedies that try to cram in all this referential stuff that really doesn't earn it. But their movie is genuinely funny. It has tremendous heart. It isn't cynical. And all of those homages are organic. They come out through the storytelling. So my hope is that people will watch the movie and say, you know something? I miss good, fun comedy movies. There should be more of this.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you, Herbert. I feel like what I love so much about this film and working on this film is it was taking a lot of free reign, and there was so much goodness and it's so fun to watch, and it keeps you're like, you lose track of time, and there's so much that happens, and you do, at the end of it, you still feel like good about yourself, you know, good about life. Like, it's not like this dark, heavy thing, and I feel like I want people to feel just excited and inspired and like light and maybe a little zany, like to sort of take that to, like, you know, to sort of let that kind of open up and get that sort of tingling and sparkling, like their zaniness sparkling, you know?
I checked out for just a second. I was watching everybody, and I was just thinking how wonderful Herbert and Paige were when they were working, how wonderful it was working with them. And I kind of went into this trance. Sorry, where were we? Anyway, and Mika too. You guys were great, man. It was wonderful. You know what we wanted people to have is just people to walk away and go, God, that was cool, and what was that? And just feel good about, you know, positive. And then everybody has a chance to succeed if you work hard.
All right, that was our big exclusive interview with the fabulous and lovely cast of Hollywood.con. Thank you again to Mika Boorem, Benjamin Boorem, Herbert Russell, and Paige Howard for coming on our show. Please go and support the film. It's available now on Amazon to rent and purchase, and go follow the cast on social media. They're all great. Why not go follow them? Again, thank you to our incredible audience for sticking around and listening. And if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe. Go follow the YouTube channel. And if you're on Spotify listening, follow us on Spotify. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a nice rating. And for now, you can follow me at Miss Film Mingo on Instagram and on Twitter at KFilmMingo for more. And go follow Mac at Mac Movie Reviews. Mac and I will be back talking more movies. And this has been the episode. Thanks for listening, and we will see you all next time.